So I am going to go ahead and get started with our slide. My name is Christine Smith, and a little bit about me. I am one of your co-facilitators of the session here today. I spent over 20 years in K-12 education, as well as adult education, as both a teacher, a principal, a director of teaching and learning. And now at EnGen, I lead channel partnerships here to create opportunities that help learners grow personally and professionally through career-aligned English instruction. If you are engaging in the chat, you're also getting a chance to meet Patrick. Patrick is my colleague. He is the manager of channel partnerships here at EnGen. He is an English language learner, which gives him a unique perspective on the challenges faced by folks that we serve directly at EnGen. This slide really tells you a little bit about EnGen. At EnGen, we're passionate about helping people succeed through English language learning. Our founder and chief education officer, Dr. Katie Brown, has spent over 25 years applying this science of language acquisition to create learning experiences that really truly work for millions of learners here in the United States and Canada. Katie's approach is at the heart of everything we do, which is personalized, career-focused, mobile-friendly learning so learners can fit learning into their lives. As a certified B corporation, we don't just deliver instruction, we build meaningful partnerships with organizations like ProLiteracy and New Readers Press, as well as higher ed, public agencies, and the private sectors. And those specific meaningful partnerships are reflected in the conversations we're going to have here momentarily with the folks on the call here today. We're really excited to lead this conversation. At EnGen, we pride ourselves on partnering with folks like each and every one of you on the call to bring hands-on experiences, proven results, to be another tool in your toolbox, and share that same strong commitment to equity and innovation. And a partner that is helping us lead the way in that is my co-facilitator who represents her organization, ProLiteracy New Readers Press, Roberta.
Thank you so much, Christine. I'm equally excited to be here. I'm Roberta Power, the educational consultant for ProLiteracy New Readers Press in Canada. And ProLiteracy and New Readers Press work together to support adult literacy. And we make high quality resources for both instructors and learners. The really cool part is that our proceeds go right back into programs that help learners and educators. So our materials help adults build literacy and English and workplace skills. To better support English learners, we teamed up with EnGen, and together we give programs a really powerful way to help learners just improve their skills faster and help them reach their goals. A little bit about me. I used to be an ESL and LINK instructor. So LINK stands for Language Instruction for Newcomers to Canada. And I was using New Readers Press resources in my classes when I was teaching. And I saw firsthand how helpful they were. So I reached out to the national manager, Dan Helms. I also loved what ProLiteracy does. So I reached out to him and he helped create this role for me as the educational consultant for Canada. And I got to train on EnGen early on, and I really wish that I had it when I was teaching. And I'm sure you will see why when you hear from our panelists today and learn more about their programs and how the language upskilling of EnGen is having such an impact. So with that, I'd like to hand it over to our panelists in a few seconds here. And I'm so grateful that they're taking time out of their busy schedules to be with us today. They'll introduce themselves, share a bit about their programs and structure, and talk about how they're using language upskilling, each for a couple of minutes. So I think we're going to kick things off with Lisa Lau.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lisa Lau. I'm the ESL program coordinator in Milpitas Adult Education. Our school is a member of Milpitas Unified School District and then also the South Bay Consortium for Adult Education. Our area is called South Bay because we are south of San Francisco Bay. We are located in California and right in the Silicon Valley. So we do have lots of big high-tech company like all the like Google, Facebook, Apple, their headquarters right in our area. Okay. We have adopted EnGen in the distant learning program for 6 consecutive years. We strategically utilize EnGen career pathway curriculum and mandatory weekly teacher-student meeting to boost up our learning outcomes. Since last school year, we have received funding from our consortium to offer healthcare career pathway program to English learner in the Bay Area. EnGen, of course, become our sole textbook for the program. And last year, we used this certified nursing assistant course in EnGen to start the healthcare program. This year, we put our focus on certified medical assistant to provide English learners with an opportunity to upskill their reading, writing skill, speaking, and listening skills in English to build a career in healthcare. And as an immigrant, in the United States, I enjoy working with new immigrants and English learners. And then I find it's a great joy at my workplace because it's my pleasure and then also a great rewarding to be able to work with the students and see they settle down in the United States and integrated to the local society.
That's great. Thank you so much, Lisa. And now we'd like to hear from Dr. Kathy Cox about her experience at Blue Ridge Community and Technical College.
Good afternoon. My name is Dr. Kathy Cox. I'm Associate Dean of Humanities at Blue Ridge Community and Technical College in Martinsburg, West Virginia. So we're a long way from San Francisco, Lisa, but I used to live out there and be more surrounded by more English language learners than I am in West Virginia. So we have a very small program. We serve as few as 11 once a semester to about 27 students in 2 classes of ELL 101 and 102. And our model is to take free classes and get people to take our technical and community programs. So our programs are like range from criminal justice to nursing to business to liberal arts, all over the place. We have a student from Cameroon in cybersecurity right now. We have 4 people who've gone into the nursing program. And the idea is to take these free classes and feed them into our community and technical college model. And EnGen has really boosted learning fast. They've learned a lot. If they get into it, we've had people really dive into it. And I'll tell you more anecdotes about it a little later when I get the opportunity to talk at greater length. But I'm an administrator and I oversee the program. I used to live in Amsterdam, so I have a slight taste of being a person living overseas. And I taught a little bit of ESL when I lived in the San Francisco area.
Thank you so much, Kathy. It's great hearing about your experience and story. And now I think we're going to hear from Dr. Alisa Zavialova to hear more about how she works with her learners.
Hi everyone, my name is Alisa and I'm based in Calgary, Alberta. So greetings from Canada. I've seen there are a few folks in the chat. Hi Katrina, who are also based in Calgary, my colleagues and friends. So I've been, English is my third language. I'm an immigrant in Canada. I've been here for 13 years and I did my doctorate in applied linguistics, so teaching English as a second language. That's what I've been doing my entire professional career. Right now is a very tight spot in terms of government funding for ESL programs in Canada. So the traditional program that Roberta was talking about, Link, has received severe funding cuts. And so we are now in a position where there is really nothing available for newcomers to Canada above the survival level. And so I decided to take initiative in my own hands and start my own agency because I refuse to give up on the idea that we can still help learners thrive in this country, and they cannot thrive without being proficient in the language. And so I first learned about EnGen actually through Roberta back in 2023 when I was managing a language acceleration pilot project with a nonprofit called Jumpstart Refugee Talent, where they were looking to connect their clients with Canadian employers, but of course, language was the major barrier. So the organization was looking to see if there are any platforms available where learners can actually access, language training remotely or on their own schedules, since there were huge waiting lists to get into the government programs. And so when they hired me, I actually did some research and I've looked at different options, and then I finally found EnGen, and I actually fell in love with the platform. And I was trained on it when I was piloting that project with Jumpstart. And then a few years later, when I established my own school, Roberta connected with me through LinkedIn, and she said, hey, why don't you try implementing EnGen into your own programs? And so I am grateful to have received 50 licenses through Mobile Learning Fund, through Pro Literacy. Because we are a startup language school, so we don't have a lot of budget right now to purchase multiple licenses. So that allowed us that gave us a head start. And so how we utilize EnGen is every student who signs up for programs at CELS, and so we offer a variety of different ESL programs. We don't work with complete beginners. We actually accept people with at least low intermediate level and higher. And so we have language for work and life in Canada. We also have conversational practice. We also have academic English. So we have test prep for like IELTS exam or TOEFL. And so EnGen actually provides a variety of different content resources where we could help learners choose the programs from EnGen in addition to attending live classes with us. So that gives them a combination of like guided instruction in our school, and then also get practice on EnGen either through assigned homework or they're following their own content, like whatever courses they chose. And so because our programs don't run Monday to Friday, so it's a part-time learning for them. But then with EnGen, they actually can continue working 24/7 in addition to coming to us. And it's a nice bonus for them. And we've seen a lot of motivation for learners to not give up on the program, because sometimes even if they pay money for the program, like the motivation levels are not very consistent, right? I would say. And so people have work, like they work survival jobs, and sometimes they juggle multiple employments. But we know that in order for them to move a level, they need to complete, at least 3-4 months, right, of consistent learning. But now knowing that if they give up on our programs, they're also losing access to EnGen, that actually helps them, get motivated. And so we've been collecting a lot of feedback from them. Like most of it is very positive. They like the fact that it's very interactive, that it's immersing them into different like real world scenarios. That's what I like about EnGen. And I know Dr. Brown, like when I first saw her profile and like I read about her story, I initially like immediately trusted the product, because I know that the person who created the product has education in second language acquisition, so we speak the same language. And so I know it's all task-based and communicative, and it on top of that saves a lot of time for myself and my instructors when it comes to creating curriculum, right? Because EnGen has a lot of ready-made lessons that we can assign, so it it saves a lot of time, and it's constantly being updated, right? So we're not even using traditional textbooks anymore, because we create our own stuff, plus we have access to the platform.
Thank you,
so that is
Alyssa, so much.
background. Yeah.
That was great. Thanks for that overview. It's been such a pleasure to work with you. Melinda, we'd love to hear about your experience.
Okay, thank you for having me. And Alyssa, everything you said about EnGen, I completely agree with you 200%. So thank you for sharing all of that. My name is Melinda Dart. I'm the assistant coordinator for our adult ELA program in Chesterfield County, Virginia, and that's in the Richmond area. My background is in TESOL and elementary ed, and I moved into adult education just a few years ago as I saw the need and the parents of the children that I taught, as well as my own personal background being from a family from the Philippines. So just a little bit about our program. We offer 8 levels of English instruction, and our structures right now are hybrid and self-directed learning. All of our students, we're just starting our semester now, so all of our students will have access to EnGen. All of the things that were previously said, our students have grown to love it over, I think, I keep trying to think back of when we first started, I think it was 2022. But we just, we incorporate it into our program in all kinds of ways. And I work directly with Joyce, so she'll share some more about what else we do in our program.
Joyce, you're on mute.
Joyce has been a real trooper with us today. Like so many who engage with Zoom, there has been technology difficulties that she's been working through. It looks like you're off mute, Joyce.
Can you hear me now?
Yay!
Okay.
Yes.
So I'm Joyce Jackson, and I am the adult ELA coordinator with Chesterfield County Public Schools. And like you said, I have been having some audio issues, but just like a true teacher and educator, we keep pushing forward. So we have been really fortunate to have at least 1,000 students in our program in over the umbrella of ELA, GED, workforce, and IETs. Now that's an acronym I'm not sure many people know about. So an IET is in Integrated Education and Training. And that is really a pathway that we really use EnGen in and has found it to be very, very successful. One of the things that you had asked us to talk about is kind of why is this work meaningful? And for me, I will definitely say I witness daily how what I do and how what my team does empowers the student, not just at work, but in their daily lives, and as well as giving them opportunities and access to things that they normally would not have. So thank you for listening to a little bit about what I do and why I do it.
Thank you so much, Joyce, and thank you all for sharing your about your programs and experiences and yourselves. It's really great to hear how you're all supporting your learners. So we are coming to some questions. We're going to have a conversation today, and we're going to kick off our discussion with this first question when thinking about traditional versus career-aligned English instruction. And I think Melinda, no, I think it's actually Alyssa Zavialova that's going to start us off on this one. So how does traditional ESL curriculum differ from career-aligned instruction, in your opinion, Alyssa? And how can they work together?
Well, when it comes to teaching adults, especially immigrant adults, there is only career-aligned English instruction that they're really looking for. Because when people come here, the first immediate need they have is we need to look for a job. So they don't care about any other traditional topics. They care about how do I get a job? How do I go through an interview? How do I how do I format my cover letter, right? And of course, the way, how to integrate language instruction with career specific topics, right? That is, I guess, it's still pretty innovative, but like when I started, for example, my own agency, we have a course called the Missing Link, where we have one of our major thematic blocks is called Prepare for Life and Work in Canada. And so that's exactly what we do. So we kind of combine career counseling with language instruction. In fact, one of our instructors who is teaching that upper intermediate level, she's a career counselor and an ESL instructor. So she gives them the linguistic feedback, like, when they go through interviews, she would correct their mistakes. Like she would give them, for example, the verb tenses that we use when we talk about experience in English, but she also gives a lot of like cultural aspect, right? And she does a lot of like training on how things are done, in the workplace environment in Canada. And so EnGen does exactly that, because EnGen has like courses specifically on resume prep, on interview prep, right? And so that is in itself is really addressing the main need of these people, right? And it gives them again motivation is, you would think that in an English, like when somebody arrives in an English speaking country, that's what I used to think. Immediately they would say, well, I need to learn English right away. Like English is my priority. But now more and more I hear from my students, and I work with a lot of Ukrainian evacuees, who say, and Canada has accepted like hundreds of thousands of them. And so in Calgary alone, we have around 20,000 Ukrainians who fled the war. And so they created their own community, right? Like they created their own Ukrainian town within Calgary. So at the end of the day, some of them tell me that we don't even feel the need to learn English that much, because we can use our first language and just create businesses around our own community. So believe it or not. So I oftentimes have to really persuade people that no, you do need English, because at the end of the day, if you want to really integrate into this country, you cannot rely just on serving your own, people from your own community, like for your businesses or whatnot. And so through EnGen, that's also possible, because, like I said, they have this amazing resource, and then they come to classes. And so, yeah, when we place employment, right, and like it's gonna be good for your business if you don't only serve Ukrainian ladies in your beauty salon, but you also have other nationalities, Canadians, Filipinos, like whoever resides right in our multicultural country. And if you want to grow your business, you need to learn English. So when they hear it like that, like when they hear that this is going to be good for their employment, then the motivation comes, and they're actually excited to learn the language, they're excited to practice, they're excited to put an effort. But I would say that, one of the reasons why traditional ESL curriculum has failed in Canada, because it was not aligned with the actual goals of newcomers, which is employment. I'm going to stop here because I talk too much, but if you need me to jump in later, I will.
No, those are absolutely wonderful insights. And I love how you are talking about bridging the cultural knowledge with the workplace content. I'm wondering if was there another panelist that wanted to address this question? Maybe Lisa?
I think it was Lisa, yeah.
Yes. Well, I believe that traditional ESL curriculum is, somewhat differ from career-aligned English instruction in focus and content and teaching methodology as well. In terms of traditional ESL curriculum, the main goal is focusing on overall communicative competence and fluency. And it covers a range of topics such as daily life, banking, health, and travel, with a focus on general purpose vocabulary. But comparing with career-aligned English instruction, the purpose for that is job readiness and career advancement, and in a particular workplace, industrial, or career path. The curriculum for career-aligned English instruction mainly is built around specialized vocabulary and jargon in a particular workplace, industrial, or career path. That's a big difference between comparing with the traditional ESL curriculum. And I found, and in terms of the skill focus, the traditional one focus on fundamental skills in the 4 traditional domains, like listening, speaking, reading, and writing. But the career-aligned one is more, focused for the job-related language skill, and then particularly provide the interperson and cultural skills to the learner as well. So that's the big difference between, this is the main difference between these two strategies and curriculums. And I found that this is the career aligned English instruction is particularly good for our situation in Silicon Valley. Why? Because like our area, the people in our area in general are pretty highly educated, and particularly for some new immigrants, a lot of them get a graduate degree from their home country, and they were professional in their home country, but once they move to the United States, they cannot go back to their old profession because of the language. So EnGen really provide that, effectively provide that opportunity for them to pick up their professional jargon and knowing about the work culture here in the United States. That really accelerate their learning, and in order to return to their old profession. So that is the great thing about the EnGen courses.
Well, thank you, Lisa, and thank you very much also, Alyssa, for kind of weighing in on that first question. We would love for people, as our panelists are kind of engaging in those questions, feel free to also kind of respond and give your thoughts too. We'd love to hear how they are different, how they're alike, as you kind of are thinking through this as our panelists engage in those conversations. At EnGen, we kind of have this framework that we look at, and I think you heard both points kind of articulated with Alyssa, who's saying, career training is the way to go, and it kind of stems a lot from that motivation, to where Lisa kind of is looking at the kind of full picture benefits of it there, and really career focused English upskilling is about more than communication. English is a workforce skill that directly supports employees in their roles. And we know this in today's fast changing economy across the United States and Canada. Employees need language skills that align with career pathways. I know we have some of our panelists here today who are really driving towards those career pathways through various program models and organizational goals that they have. And traditional ESL programs often focus on general English. If you ever heard, I know several of you have heard our founder speak, days of the week, colors. When I was going through learning a second language, focusing on some of those basics, which doesn't always translate directly to the workplace success. Not saying that those aren't important, but isn't what some of our learners are needing immediately right away. That career-focused programs accelerate learning by connecting language, really instruction, to real workplace tasks and responsibilities. And that really is what makes EnGen unique. And really where we've focused our attention is looking at those opportunities where we can take real workplace tasks and responsibilities and translate those into contextualized learning experience. The graphic you see up on the screen where you have traditional ESL on one side and career training on the other side, and in the middle is really where EnGen's approach is, working with the programs that you see on this call here, our panelists, kind of being that gap where career-aligned English upskilling lives to prepare learners for some of those real-world workplace successes, and emphasizing that our goal at EnGen is to fill that gap with you, with the folks on this call, equipping learners with the language skills that they need to really be effective, confident, and ready to grow in their careers. Now, a lot of the questions that we're asking have come directly as a result of a study that EnGen kind of has worked on, a report. And I'm going to ask Patrick to drop the link to this report in the chat for those of you who want to look at it a little bit further. But this comes from some work the 2025 Workforce Report at EnGen, which summarized findings from our annual survey of adult English learners. And in this report, it really highlights English upskilling as a driver for real-world outcomes and workforce productivity, employee engagement and retention, and social inclusion. The report includes responses from over 6,000 adult English learners, and more than double of the responses that we got from 2023. Again, Patrick, thanks for dropping that link into this. But what this slide shows specifically are the survey results from customers of Pro Literacy and New Readers Press. And you can kind of see them up on the screen here. 96% of the learners who were surveyed specifically from the organization served on this call and the wider breadth that New Readers Press Pro Literacy serves through EnGen said that they improved confidence. 96% said they saved time at work. 94% said they improved job skills. 92% said that they improved tech skills or digital literacy, and it goes on. The link that you have allows you a response rate to the full report, and this report really underscores the importance of what we're talking about here today: career-focused English upskilling in today's environment to build workforce skills for English language learners. And you can also see that there are going to be some quotes that we got from the survey itself, and the quotes that, as we move forward from today, are actually from the participating panelists, their programs. And this is what they had to say. And I know we've got some folks coming up here who are going to share a few of their learner stories and quotes as they go along here today. So this brings us back to you, Roberta, with our kind of second question for our panelists here.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Christine. Yeah, I think educators are really wondering how they can build a career-relevant ESL program. And I think Melinda Dart is going to offer some advice to us. Melinda, what advice would you give to educators who are really looking to make their ESL programs more career-relevant, but they don't know exactly where to start?
Yes, we have a lot of things that we do in our program. Joyce actually is going to start, and then I'm going to kind of build on what she shares.
Okay, so, go ahead.
We can hear you.
Okay, so to make our programs more career relevant, we always like to start with things that are simple. So to us, it's first setting student goals, because we want to make sure that the student is actively involved in their advocating for themselves, in telling us what they would like. And we always say that we're not just English classes, we're so much more. So setting student goals is really the primary thing that we do. So from our first class meeting, we encourage our teachers to create time and space for students to reflect on their current lives and then figure out where would they like to go in their career path. So we have something that we've created, and it's called Map Your Goals and Map Your Pathways. And it's a template that we created for our students. And it is in a digital form, or we can actually print it out. And our students can either write or draw based on their level. And they are looking at their career pathways and the steps that they will need to take to move forward on those pathways. So our maps also come with picture support. So for lower proficiency levels, if needed, they can draw pictures, or then, it runs the whole gamut. Once that's done, the teachers use these maps to guide and to differentiate their instruction, to create small groups based on interest or similar career pathways. Another way we make our program career relevant is we have started something that's called a speaker series in our program. And it's a special time we intentionally set aside before class, mostly once a month or bi-monthly, to highlight job opportunities, organizations in the community who might be hiring, or schools offering courses related to specific careers. So we've had speakers from the Office of Community Wealth Building, career services directors from a local college, just to name a few. And the students actually are able to have some just time set aside to ask questions, to get information, and then start to build on their own advocacy for their own career pathway. Melinda, you want to take it over?
Sure. Thanks, Joyce. And just saying that, we also try to have speakers that represent our student population so they can see themselves in those roles. And even some of our students, like the one Joyce mentioned from the Office of Community Wealth Building, that was actually one of our former students. So something Joyce and I also promote in our program to be career relevant is project-based learning. Teachers can come up with an idea with our support and create a project based on students' career goals. One project that really stands out to us is something that our immediate level teacher does, and it's a mock job fair. And as someone was mentioning earlier about how we have students that come, from their home countries with degrees, and it's really hard to pursue that same career here. But this gives them an opportunity to create a business or their dream job and just kind of share it with everyone. And it's a great way to just encourage and motivate learners to pursue what they love. So this may be anything that students are interested in. We've seen a catering business, we've seen a real estate business, to name a few. And students plan and collaborate in small groups and create signs and displays advertising their business. And then they invite students and teachers from all the other classes to visit the job fair. And this gives them time to ask questions as they practice their English skills. And once, just a little story, one of the businesses was so believable that they created applications, and the other students were like filling them out, hoping to get a job offer. But it's just a great way to motivate students to, if they want to pursue what they once did in their home country, that they can do it here. And project-based learning also provides experiences that students can include on their resumes: collaboration, team leads, planning, organizing, all of those things can be supported on their resumes. And that's another thing that teachers do, is work on resume writing, mock interviews during class. We also encourage them to set up stations. We're big promoters of setting up stations in class, especially when you have a class that's all one level. Even within that one level, there are varying needs in that class. So setting up stations, including all four domains: reading, writing, listening, and speaking, and making the content job related, specific to the jobs that they set, originally on their maps or their goals, their pathways. And that could be anything from job scenarios, vocabulary, and scripts, all things that they can practice while in class. And of course, we have to say EnGen, of course, is a great way to make programs career relevant. Just like everyone's been saying earlier, like as soon as our students get access to EnGen, we're getting emails. How long do I have EnGen for? Or can I keep doing it, when class is over? So no matter what happens in the classroom, they always have that time, independent study, where they think, they tell us also, like if they're standing in line or they're waiting for something, they can pull up the app and continue working, on those topics and just career courses that are relevant to their lives.
That's awesome. I love how you're making your program a lot more career relevant, and it's good to hear about EnGen. It's always good to hear. And you, Melinda and Joyce, you two should write a book. I'd buy it.
I know. I loved the ideas of goal setting, and I don't know, Melinda and Joyce, if you've had an opportunity to see some of the chat that was going on, but Brenda shared some things along those same lines, Joyce, of what you were sharing as well.
Yes.
And I bet you there's several other folks on this call here today who are thinking outside the box to do a lot of those different strategies.
We find that it's something that the students, as adult learners, and any learner, child or adult, they want to set goals. And, having them as an integral part of getting their pathway is, I think, essential for them to be successful.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I think that kind of and I bet you there's several of us on the panelists here who have a story where career-aligned English instruction directly led to transformative employment outcomes. I know when I was reading the impact survey, we got lots of things every day from people who shared with us that, not all of these things that we're doing in your programs are helping them lead to kind of this real world impact from learning to earning. And Joyce and Melinda, do you have any specific examples you wanted to share? And then hopefully maybe we can ask some other folks too.
Absolutely. So the one I'm going to share first is it's a non-traditional story and pathway. And it involves one of our actual support staff members who is responsible for assisting students using EnGen. So the onboarding process, troubleshooting, anything that they have. So that was her responsibility. And in order for her to do that and support our students, she had some time to navigate EnGen on her own. Doing this, it led her to engaging in EnGen's phlebotomy course. She found a desire to explore that profession and is now enrolled in phlebotomy training at a local community college. So, I mean, we explore EnGen on so many levels that even our staff members that are supporting our students found a way to actually have transformative employment outcomes. It was amazing when she told us the story. She goes, if it wasn't for me learning about EnGen to help our students, I would never realize that I liked phlebotomy and I never would have taken the course.
Oh, I love that. I love it. And
yes.
we've got another Joyce Cook in the chat, who also shared a little bit about a user experience. Any other of our panelists have any stories or career-aligned English instruction that really kind of led some of your program participants to some transformative employment opportunities or outcomes?
We did have some.
Oh, go ahead.
Is it okay? I'm going to share.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to share 4 student story with you. I hope it's not too long. I promise I'm going to be quick. All right. First of all, I would like to tell you about Claudia. She comes from Mexico. She had been in our distant learning program for 4 years, starting from high beginning level to advanced ESL level. When she just joined our distant learning program, she was a casino worker, working part-time in the evening. And she really wanted to do something else, but because of her language skills, she could not get other jobs. And after she joined the distant learning program, we used EnGen. And the great thing about EnGen is EnGen's curriculum, including traditional ESL curriculum and then also career pathway courses as well. That really helped her a lot. So she started really from beginning, choosing the everyday English curriculum courses to polish up her everyday conversation, work, and skills. And then that gave her really, that boosts her confidence in the workplace and secure her job as well. Then later on, once she becomes better in speaking and in communicates with people, she moved her job to in the office job. And then toward the end, in the time that toward the end of the time she finished our distant learning program, she got a job, a permanent job in the office. And then after she finished our program, she also enrolled herself in our paraeducator program in order to get a job working in the school that better fit with her children's schedule. So you can see that, she moved along her career, build her career, based on the lessons from EnGen to polish up her communication skill and English language proficiency in order to build her career. So this is a very successful story. Everybody here is really proud of her. And then she's really happy with us. Since she has been in our program for 4 years, we know each other really well.
Oh,
The great thing about that.
I just love this, Lisa. And as I was saying, I can listen to these stories all day long.
Right.
And so I think, one of the most significant things from our findings in the impact report is we not only have this opportunity to really help learners transform themselves when it comes to employment, but also the ability to help them navigating daily life. And those are some of those kind of unspoken outcomes that I know we also have stories about. And Dr. Cox, I know you wanted to share some of those with us here today.
Yes, I certainly did. I'm Associate Dean of Humanities, so the humanities side of it all kicks in when I think of English language learning. And our nurses, the 4 people who went into the nursing program, have certainly developed abilities with their bedside manner. They've certainly, on the other side of it, been able to go to hospitals and meet with doctors without translators sometimes now, where they used to be super insecure about going to the hospital and have to get a translator. They can now navigate it on their own. That's highly practical. I feel like telling a joke about Italian lady who's much older, and she practiced with EnGen and was getting the endings of words, and she was saying stink instead of sting by mistake. And it was a transformation in her personality. She said, I used to be shy. No wonder I was shy. My dentist thought when he brought the Novocaine out that I was saying he stink instead of it stings. And we were like, yes, you have to practice those endings. And the person who was telling us about being able to go to the hospital was saying again, not only does EnGen teach you pronunciation from one kind of accent, but it teaches you from a whole different speaker of English accent. So she felt immersed in the possibilities of, navigating different kinds of English culture, English speaking cultures. I don't want to get back into the jobs too much, but we have a worker from a Thai restaurant who owns the restaurant, co-owns the restaurant, and he was delving into the vocabulary of how to do that better. And then by contrast, there was a learner, Jorge, who said, yes, I can go to restaurants now and order. And it takes you from being, and we have people who were lawyers and counselors in their own country and are trying to learn to just navigate here. And it takes you from being incredibly capable in your own original culture and kind of infantilizing you almost when you move to a new culture and you're out of where you were as a language speaker, and you regain your power and your confidence when you learn from EnGen and learn to speak better. So those are just a couple of little scenarios. And
I appreciate that. And I think they're so powerful, all of these different
yes,
stories that folks are sharing. And I guarantee you, every single one of the panelists here today have those kinds of ability to kind of reflect on both sides of the coin. But believe it or not, we're in our last 10 minutes of our time here together. And this last question that we're kind of mapping towards is an important one as well. And we want to give at least about a minute to each of our panelists to kind of share their final thoughts on really what makes 2025 a pivotal moment for integrating English upskilling into English language learning programs like yours, whether they are here in the US or outside of the United States and Canada. There's a lot here for all of us to unpack. And I bet you there's people listening to all of you and wanting to understand, how do we do all this? How do we make it work? It's so important. And this work that you're doing and leading and I'd love to hear from you, Melinda, first to kind of give your final thoughts, and then we'll kind of just popcorn through everyone. There's the teacher and me coming out too. So,
okay, well, just with 2025 being just a year of a lot of shifting, we've had to shift in so many ways our program, the way we're doing classes, the way we're serving students. So we really had to take some time to, like you said, reflect and see how could we best serve students just right where we are with what we have. And one of the shifts we did was turn to workplace literacy as a key component of our program. So along with our regular English classes, we've kind of shifted to looking to employers to see how we can serve their employees. And I won't take long, but one story that we were going to share out of that was just partnering with this construction company. And it just, with the use of EnGen, instruction, all of that, it's expanded, and we're going to be, doing a workplace literacy class for a whole nother location. So I think just from the start, as we said earlier, letting whoever comes to us know that we are more than English classes, that we are there for more than just learning English, for whatever needs they may have, resources, looking for jobs, whatever it is, that we're that safe space that we can come to. I think that's where it all starts.
thanks, Melinda. How about you, Kathy? Any final thoughts here?
Well, I don't mean to delve into this necessarily, but we serve a diverse student population, and funding for various initiatives that have to do with improving the lives of our diverse student population aren't as funded as they were. I've written some grants before, and pro-literacy and EnGen really stand behind what they believe in. And through funding some of the licenses, I think one of the other panelists spoke to sort of seed money going into her program. It has enabled these kinds of transformational moments in our students' lives, and we really appreciate help with that.
Thank you.
Can I just add, yeah.
Yes, Alyssa.
Yes,
Please.
Alyssa, you were the one.
Yeah, that was me who said that EnGen has given a head start to my school and amazing resource for our students. I think they've never seen anything like that before, and I'm on board in a new cohort in a few weeks, and they've been told that they're getting access to EnGen, so they're all excited to see what's waiting for them. But I second both Melinda and Kathy in terms of reduced amount of funding. We're seeing the same trends here in Canada. So yeah, 2025 is definitely a pivotal moment because we're going to see, a lot more refugees coming to our shores. That's for sure. And I'm very sad to say that. But as an immigrant from Ukraine, and I still have a pulse on what's happening in my own home country, and I don't have good news. Unfortunately, I wish I had good news, but unfortunately not. So we will need to integrate more and more people. And these people are coming with tremendous potential and skills. And the major barrier they have is language. And so I think EnGen is providing a very affordable, even, if I were to buy it, I'm certainly hoping to buy licenses in future for my school. It is an affordable tool, but it has tremendous potential. So, and it allows great flexibility. It allows innovation, and we need to move away from traditional ESL curriculum. And I like what Melinda said, that we're doing more than just teaching English. That's certainly how I see my school as well.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Alyssa.
Lisa? Lisa, you're on mute with us right now.
I'm sorry now, I find this year is particularly really critical moment for our immigrants because of the funding issue and also a lot of changes in this country. And integrating English upskills into English language learning programs is really essential, particularly essential and critical for now. Why? Because our immigrant really, right now in our country, some people doubt about immigrants, what contribution, what immigrants bring to the country. And if we can, but everybody know that the immigrants is really important in our country for our economy and then also for everything. So for our job market as well. So if we can more effectively to accelerate our English learner, new immigrants, to get a job, that is really important. And that is very critical to bring everybody together as well. Then hopefully we can have a more stable situation for everyone living in the United States.
And anything else just in these final seconds here? I think, Joyce, you were the only one that we haven't had any final thoughts from yet.
I mean, I would just say that the learners themselves are demanding more. So our adult students are motivated by this, really practical outcomes, and they want to improve their English, not just for everyday life, but just to earn better, have better jobs, to advance in their careers and to support their families. And we're finding that EnGen really is an integral part of how to do that. And it's really a successful program, and it's just evident in our students. They don't want to give it up. They don't.
No, they don't. They don't. Well, as we kind of wrap up here and heard from our panelists on a few of their final thoughts, and you can actually see several learner quotes from folks all over outside of the work that we're doing. And I believe in the invite here, we also have a profile on a Pro Literacy New Readers Press student who was able to highlight some of those real world impact as well, including one here from the VP of Publishing at Pro Literacy New Readers Press. And I'm going to turn it over to Roberta to close us out here for our session today.
Sure, thanks, Christine. So Sonia Chernitz, our vice president, sums it up here. She says, as a nation, our economic prosperity and growth hinge on developing a skilled workforce. EnGen is proven to empower adults by upskilling their English and digital literacy skills, and we are proud to partner with them in strengthening the U.S. workforce. And I know that Sonia is also very happy to now be helping to strengthen the Canadian workforce through our partnership with EnGen. So, a very warm and big thank you to our panelists today for sharing all of their experiences with EnGen and language upskilling. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for joining us today for this webinar, The Impact of Career-Aligned Instruction. If you're interested in learning more or trying out EnGen in a free trial, here are some QR codes to scan, find your sales rep, and or request a free trial. Or you can go to our website, newreaderspress.com, and along the top, you're going to be able to find a sales rep, and we can help you out. If you're from Canada, you'll find me, our power at proliteracy.org. We also have a monthly special on EnGen right now, so it's 10% off if you purchase 15 or more licenses. And the promo code, I believe someone is going to write that in the chat, September 25, and this is good through till the end of September. Thank you so much, everyone.
Again, big thank you to all of our panelists. Thanks again for coming. Roberta, it was a pleasure. Thank you, Pro Literacy New Readers Press. These documents will be followed up. Everything that we shared here today will be sent out to you. I know some of you had questions for a few of our panelists. We apologize we didn't get to those, but you will have their information, and I encourage you to connect with them. They're great thought leaders in the space and specifically this conversation. On behalf of Roberta and myself and everyone from EnGen and Pro Literacy New Readers Press, thank you so much for joining us here today.